Welcome to Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush.
But at the time, Chad and Dave both came through, so I was able to speak to them first. But that just made me feel good that I know that people have busy lives. I understand. I have a busy life too. I look down at, and I can tell you firsthand that I am so busy now because I'm auditioning every single day. I've probably had 40 auditions, I think, in the last 2 weeks. I understand that you can look down sometimes and being busy and not see a message. So I don't fault anybody for that. Also, don't fault anybody that is scared to come on the show. I've been impressed by the courage, especially of women who have been able to tell me, Brandon, you know what? I'm afraid of public speaking, even though we aren't live, but that they're afraid of public speaking and just don't realize they're just talking to me. I'm just B, but at least they've been honest and said that instead of, sometimes guys would be all tough and they've been scared to say, hey, Brandon, look, I'm afraid to come on the show because I'm terrified that I'm gonna make something not seem like whatever. So this is a 10-minute show we're about to go over. I'm your boy, man. Like, how are you gonna be scared to talk to me? It's just me. We talk we talk 24/7, 7 days a week about some of the dumbest stuff in the world. So if you're talking to me, but I think it's it wasn't 5.2 million now, and then by the time they actually come on, it's probably gonna be like closer to 7-something million people tuning in. So now I would say I can understand them being a little bit scared, but it's not live. You're talking to me, B. I'm still the same B from the East Coast that I've always been. Same B from day one of college. I'm still the same. The only difference is that God has blessed my career, and what I do in my career, I just happen to work in the forefront of, one of the biggest businesses in the world. So you're talking to me. There's nothing to be scared of. Scared of what? And to think about that also, I have to go whenever I'm filming, just so you guys know, that people that aren't aware of the movie business, whenever I'm doing those scenes, there's about 40 or 50 people behind the camera when I am doing those scenes. Even when I strip for Betty White, which I've never been so comfortable in my lifetime stripping for Betty White. I've never been more confident and more comfortable stripping for Betty White and Emily Osment on Young and Hungry than when I did that scene stripping for Betty White. I had a blast doing that. In fact, going into that audition, I've said this on a couple of podcasts, I knew when they called me in for that, I knew that there wasn't a person in Hollywood or Los Angeles that could beat me. And they were going to show up that day, they were showing up to lose. I have all of that documented, fully out, because I always Snapchatted my, every single audition I've done. I think I have 16 years of auditions, but not 16 years, a little less than that, but I have at least 10, 12 years of auditions, and I've always recorded before every audition me saying clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, which is my go-to because I wanted my friends to know that I wasn't scared. Clear eyes, you don't have to see it, but you can, if you go into it with open mind and you give it your best, full heart, meaning, yeah, you give it your best, like win or lose, it doesn't matter as long as you go all out and you try the hardest as you can, you be all that you can be, and you put effort into it, then you can't lose. Win or draw, doesn't matter. As long as you go in there and give the best you can. That's not just in auditions, but in lifetime. If you give it all, when I used to play football with my friends, I'd tell you, hey, fight with me to the end, fight with me to the end. We'd be losing. We came back to win more games and beat more teams in the last minute or 2 minutes. And I appreciate them afterwards for sticking with me because I would go all out for them. They would go all out for me. But they believed into that system that I was saying of, hey, just fight to the end. Because I wasn't just fighting for that. I was fighting for my career every day. I was fighting for survival in Los Angeles when it came to, living expenses and all that, because it's a brutal place out there. Believe it. My buddy Corey Blackman. That timing can be more perfect. But I was fighting for my life out there when it came to like survival, and because bills are constantly coming in, and as a struggling actor, it ain't easy. It's not easy at all. I was 2,600 miles away from my home, and any friends and any family. I was there by myself in a business where I didn't know anybody, not a single soul. And by God's good grace, and I was given great knowledge from people like David Ramsey, actor, director, producer David Ramsey, and actor Peter Coyote, who both gave me great advice, which I listened to and I followed to get to where I was. And then also everything else I learned doing background work and stand-in work for Lawrence Fishburne on CSI, and then a bunch of other actors on I did background work, I did stand-in work, I worked with the late great Bill Paxton a lot too on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was a second unit team, so I did all of for the African-American actors, black actors around there, I was doing all their, like pretty much everything. that wasn't on camera stuff. I was on camera too, like body doubling and stuff like that. I was part of a second unit for that. So for 2 years, which was a blessing. That's actually a quick story. The time I met Halle Berry. Man. So I'm at Culver City Studios, which is located in Culver City. I think it's Culver City Studios is what it's called. Located right next to Sony Picture Studios, which was where I first did my first commercial, which was a Guitar Hero commercial with Heidi Klum, Michael Phelps, Kobe Bryant, Tony Hawk, Alec Rodriguez, and I know I'm missing someone. Tony Hawk, Michael Phelps, Tony Hawk, Heidi Klum. I know I'm missing somebody. And shot that at Sony, but we're at Culver City Studios. I had just gone through a breakup, right? Girlfriend broke up with me and kicked me to the curb. I was heartbroken because I actually loved her a lot. Thought I was going to marry her, but that's another story all in itself. That's okay. Everything worked out like it's supposed to. Sometimes in lifetime, you lose a person that you love at that time. But I'm better off for it. And I wish her all the best wherever she is in this world. I don't know, but I hope she's doing well. Anywho, I am heartbroken, man. Heartbroken in the world because I love this girl. And I go to Culver City Studios because I'm going to work on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm walking through, and I told you I always talk to everybody. I always say hello and good morning to everybody. I can't tell you how many times in LA people have looked at me like I was crazy, especially when I first got there. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, wait, what? On the East Coast, we say hello to everybody. Hello, what's up? In New York, all the way down to Florida, there's never been a place where I haven't been able to say hello to someone and not say hello back. So in LA, it was a bit of a culture shock because people, and still to this day, when I let someone through, I've never seen a wave. I've still yet to see someone wave. On the East Coast, people wave all the time. Oh, thank you. You let someone in, they give you thanks. I have never once seen that to this day in Los Angeles. To this day. Anywho, I'm walking through, I said I'm heartbroken. My girlfriend had broken up with me, kicked me to the curb. I wasn't going to see my family again for a year or two. And yeah, it was pretty big time. So, but this is also the reason to help me become a better actor because I had to learn how to fake being okay and not being upset or depressed from it all. And I put it all into acting. I was performing at open mic nights, which is when I started booking all the stuff too, which it actually worked out well. All that like sadness and all I ended up using for my good. Thank you for breaking up with me. Oh my gosh, I literally would not be where I am today had you not, because that made me the best actor ever. And I was like getting called in from all left and right from these performance open mic nights I was doing. I was getting called in left and right. So anywho, heartbroken, back, Sony Culver City Studios, walking through. I see these two ladies walking by. One has a hat on, and two black ladies. One has a hat on. The other one is just coming by, and I say, hey, hey, good afternoon, good morning. I said good afternoon to them, and they, oh, hey, how's it going? And I kept walking, and I was like, oh my God, that was Halle Berry. I don't know why I'm looking over there because I'm doing auditions, so I usually when I do auditions look that way. I'm like, that was Halle Berry. I'm walking. I just got heartbroken. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Halle Berry. And so as I realized that is Halle Berry, I turn, and Halle Berry literally turns back and she smiles big at me. Oh my gosh. Because she had realized that I like, she was just sweet. I realized who she was. She had the hat on. She was the one with the hat on. And I think that they were so excited and not expecting someone to say hello to them like I was, me, being the East Coast guy that I am, being kind to everybody. I just happened to say hello as I'm walking by. It was just those two and me. We were the only ones walking in the studio. And she turned and she smiled. I'm talking about that Halle Berry smile that you cannot beat. Halle Berry is one of a kind. One of the most beautiful women ever, inside and out. And I just went through a breakup. And Halle Berry just smiled back at me. Not only did she say hello and talk for a second, but she smiled like after she talked to me for that like couple seconds when we were going by, because it was like a little bit of a conversation. When I realized it was Halle Berry, for her to do that turn and look back and smile, like, dude, that was like a Pepsi commercial or something. I don't even know. Like, she just turned like if I had Mentos or something, like that was a commercial right there. And she smiled. It was like a nice moment of her smiling back. And then she turned and kept on walking. Let me tell you what. I forgot that I had even gone through a breakup at that point. Literally. For those 5-10 minutes rest of the day, I was on cloud 9. Why was I on cloud 9? Because Halle Berry just smiled at me. I just talked to Halle Berry. I can't thank you, God. Thank you. I had gone through a breakup. And that just let me know too, that maybe I wasn't looking too bad. You know, maybe the things were going to be all right. And then things have been all right since then. But it was Halle Berry who mended this broken heart, and I can't thank her enough. Halle Berry, thank you so much. I was so close to working with you so many times on a TV series. I think it's called, I can't remember what it's called, somewhat the spaceship TV show. I had so many callbacks from that show. I got pinned for that show so many times. The casting office really liked me for that show. I met them one time when I was filming something else there. Stopped by and I was like, hey, you know, look, here's my headshot and resume. I think I'd be right for the show, and I would love to read for it. They ended up calling me back, and I got pinned for that. The only reason I didn't end up working with you is because that role ended up getting written out. I had booked it, and my first audition, I had booked it, and the role ended up getting written out. So, Halle Berry, that is the only reason that I didn't work with you then. Hopefully again sometime in the future. And with that said, that is the Brandon Rush 10-minute show. I'll catch you guys later. And make sure you tune into Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. All right, guys, take it easy.